Hey folks, this is Kalani. The very first build for patch 10.0.7 is now on the public test realms, so we get our first look at what this patch is going to include. So far we have some big class changes, including up to 35% damage increases for some classes and specs. There is a big spec rework coming for your favourite Holy Crusaders. There's some new gems that look suspiciously like Shards of Domination. We have a new scenario style vault to explore, new dragon riding abilities to learn, and much more. And then there are also some class changes coming for live servers, so we won't have to wait quite as long for those. There's a lot to go over, so let's break it all down and see how patch 10.0.7 looks so far. Now before we jump in, be sure to hit up that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. Let's kick things off with the brand new class changes coming our way. All of these are tied to the new patch 10.0.7 PTR, and oh boy are there some massive changes for certain classes, and we even have a complete class rework or overhaul. To start with, Death Knights will see quite a few changes to their Unholy spec. Some talents have moved around, some talents have been buffed, some extra functionality was thrown into a few, and then Commander of the Dead will now be an aura around the Death Knight. I guess the current iteration isn't all too reliable from what the dev note says here. That's all for now, but they did also note that Unholy specifically will see more quality of life changes later on in 10.0.7. For Druids, there is a quick buff to Protector of the Pack, up to 400% for non-resto specs and 300% for resto, up from 240% for everyone, so you should be able to save up a lot more healing in that talent, but we'll have to wait and see if it's enough. Resto Druid will see quite a few changes by the looks of things. There are a few new talents, a lot of talents are getting some additional functionality to improve their effectiveness, and quite a lot of talents are being shifted around, so they're going to be in different places when this patch goes live. This actually includes some talents being combined together in a choice talent, which is an interesting change. Moving on, Evokers have some odd changes. There are some changes to how Chosen Identity works, so you res in your visage form. There's a new dragon riding ability that works just like Aerial Halt. This will make more sense later on, but you can reduce your velocity while in the air. There are some small buffs to talents, some talents have been redesigned, and then Roar of Exhilaration has actually been removed. Verdant Embrace healing was also buffed for Devastation Evokers specifically. Monks only have one change so far, and it's for Mistweaver. Thunder Focus T now causes Enveloping Mist to become instant cast in addition to its current effect. Paladins don't have too much going on in this list, a few buffs and changes to protection, and a note on Retribution that a big rework is underway, and we'll see more changes in future PTR builds. So not too much right this very second, but you do have a lot of things to look forward to if you are a Ret Paladin. Hopefully the changes are all good, and they address some of the concerns that you have. Priests only have one quick change for Discipline, and it's a bug fix for Expiation, dealing too much damage, so not the kind of bug fix you really look forward to hearing about. This one's actually going to be a nerf. And then we come to the Shamans. This is where things really start ramping up for this build specifically. We have a lot of general changes, like changing how Earth Elemental works with aggro. Astral Shift is getting buffed, as well as talents relating to that ability. There are damage increases, talent changes, talents have been removed, talents are moving position in the class tree, so it's kind of like a mini rework is happening for the Shaman class tree here. And then Restoration has a lot of specific changes too. Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning damage was increased by 35%, Wellspring healing was reduced by 30%, and then there are also a lot of talent changes. Talents have been removed, new talents are added in, talents have been buffed, and a lot of talents are moving around in that talent tree. And that's actually all of the class changes in this first PTR build for patch 10.0.7, so expect to see a lot more changes come through with every new build, and keep an eye out for that big Ret Paladin rework that is being promised. I know Ret hasn't been in a great place so far in Dragonflight, so hopefully this rework covers a lot of their problem areas. That's not all the class changes we have to look forward to though. With the next weekly reset, Guardian Druids will see some huge buffs. The armor from Iron Fur has been increased by 20%, Reinforced Fur now boosts Iron Fur and Bark Skin damage reduction even further, Ursoc's Fury grants a shield based on 50% of damage dealt by Thrash and Maul, up from 30%, Reinvigoration's Frenzied Regen cooldown was reduced even further, Layered Main chance to proc was doubled, and Lunar Beam healing was increased by 130%. set, and the cooldown was also reduced to 1 minute. Lots of buffs in there, which should hopefully help Guardian after the changes they got in 10.0.5, but honestly, they still probably need a lot more changes and a lot more buffs to get even close to what a protection warrior is currently capable of. Now, as a quick note, the blue post does say this is a work in progress, so we should see more changes added for Guardian Druid before the weekly reset rolls around, so keep your eyes peeled. There's still hope for the bears. Moving on, the testing cycle for patch 10.0.7 also started up this week, so we have the very first build up available to test on the public test realms. I'm still honestly very surprised by how quickly we saw this patch hit PTR. I know the dev team said they want to move quickly with patches and start testing the next one right after a patch goes live, but I still didn't expect it to be the week right after 10.0.5 went live. So what's in this patch so far? Well, we will be returning to the Forbidden Reach to learn all about the Drakthea's history and uncover some new secrets of the Dragon Isles. For now, we can see there will be a whole bunch of new rares to go after and kill. The rewards for these rares aren't fully implemented yet, so we're not sure what kind of gear will be on offer just yet, but I imagine the dev team will want to make them quite valuable, seeing as it's new content. In addition to that, we have new treasures to collect, a new invasion event or primal storm to take part in, and there's a new Stormbound chest marked on the minimap, which could mean another event like the Waterbound chest in the Anaran Plains, which could also mean some very shiny loot. There are also new dragon glyphs scattered around the zone, in high and hard to reach places of course, with some new abilities to pick up in the dragon riding talent tree. Aerial Halt will give us some air brakes, kind of, significantly reducing your forward velocity to let you make a softer landing. This should also make it much easier to land in a pinpoint location, instead of having to circle around and around to try and get that perfect landing. Aerial Halt also does not cost any vigor, so you can use it whenever you want. And then Airborne Recovery grants you a vigor point when you use Aerial Halt at high speed, so that's a nice bonus to quickly shift direction or just make sure you have some extra vigor for when you next take off. I'm kind of surprised that we're seeing new dragon riding glyphs, talents and abilities already being added into the game. We haven't even hit our first major content patch, but that brand new feature is already seeing improvements and nice quality of life additions, so I am very excited to see if they add more functionality to dragon riding as time goes on. And then the most interesting addition so far on the 10.0.7 PTR is a new scenario-style piece of content, Scare Vaults. The general idea seems to be quite simple. As you progress through the vault, you will find locked doors. Each door requires one vault key to unlock. The quest that starts you off on this adventure provides you with quite a few keys, but past that we are going to have to find more for ourselves. So you can unlock doors if you have keys, and inside those doors will be a variety of treasure, typically being guarded by a nasty monster. Kill the monster, collect the loot. That seems to be more or less it. There do seem to be special doors with items or unlocks to progress further up this vault specifically, and you can see there are many levels up above here, so progressing through this vault will let you go higher and unlock doors further up. Now obviously the rewards in here are still placeholder, so we're not entirely sure what this will look like when it's finished and whether it will reward lots of gold, maybe primal chaos or some other currencies, but there are a few things in place. There is a placeholder currency, so we know we'll be gathering something new to probably buy things with. There are special Neltharian gift tokens, which I'm sure are going to be important, and then it also seems like you will randomly come upon a new type of gem, primordial stones. These stones vary widely in their effects they offer, from extra shields, extra stats, some extra damage, or even interacting with how other stones behave and perform, and adding extra effects onto other stones' effects. It has the potential to be quite interesting. There also seems to be a brand new type of socket to accommodate these stones, primordial sockets, and we only know of one item so far that could have these sockets, a brand new ring. This onyx amulet is a ring and has 3 primordial sockets attached to it, so if this is our only way to use primordial stones, it looks like we could be limited to just 3 at a time. So journeying through this vault and opening as many doors as you can might be the only way to acquire these new primordial stones to take advantage of their new powers and effects. But to do that, you're going to need more keys. It seems like one major gameplay loop for the Forbidden Isles is going to be collecting these keys, opening more rooms in the vault and climbing higher and higher, or maybe delving deeper and deeper into these vaults to claim all new rewards. I know that killing rares at least has a chance to reward you with vault keys, so that's going to be one reason to kill as many rares per day as you can, but the keys will most likely be rewarded from other sources too, like daily quests and maybe even treasures. This also seems to be just one of many vaults. When you do the little intro, one of the NPCs says there are many more vaults to explore, and they all seem to be named or numbered in code. We have as, ix, kix as examples, so maybe there will be little secrets to crack in all of this vault hunting as well, but the main takeaway here is that this is just one vault of many, so we're going to need a lot of keys. So we don't have a full picture of how this whole thing works just yet. It is only the first PTR build after all, but if these new primordial gems or stones turn out to be quite powerful, then the vault is something everyone will want to take part in. There does seem to be more to this puzzle though. In 10.0.7, jewel crafters will learn the ability to crush these primordial stones. You can see the long list of stones in the UI here, and there are a wide variety of bonuses and effects. None of them seem immediately super powerful or anything, they definitely seem like smaller effects. It could still be interesting though, some of them even trigger when other stones are triggered, so you might be able to create some fun combos in here, but I doubt they're going to be as powerful as a set bonus, or as the Shards of Domination were back in Shadowlands. The curious thing here though is that jewel crafters can crush them into fragments. There only seems to be one use for these fragments as of right now, that I can find anyway, to create an item called Unstable Elementium. This is also a jewel crafting recipe for 10.0.7. The fragments are also bind on account, so technically you can gather up primordial stones on an alt, crush them, and then send the fragments over to your main crafter to make the Elementium. If we go ahead and take a closer look at that ring from earlier, the Onyx Amulet, we can see that the flavor text says, Forged of Elementium. This ring has 3 vacant slots, so I guess this Elementium could be used for crafting the rings, and you're going to need extra primordial stones to make the Elementium, meaning jewel crafters should be very interested in this new vault delving adventure. Another change for professions comes in the form of a new splash UI for specializations, specifically specializations that you haven't yet unlocked or learned. The new screen gives a brief overview of what the specialization does, as well as some highlights for what kind of bonuses you can expect to unlock. That's kind of cool, and will hopefully make it more immediately obvious which specializations contribute to what kind of crafting, so it's a small change, but definitely a welcome one. And then there are also various quests and daily quests scattered around the Forbidden Reach. Most of these are not final yet, some of them you can't even test, and we don't have proper rewards, but it is safe to say that the Forbidden Reach will most likely be a daily quest hub that we'll want to spend some time in, so there should always be a reason to pop back to the Forbidden Reach regularly throughout the week in 10.0.7. And then this week also brought us the trading post. After a shaky start and some extended maintenance, the trading post is finally open for business. So be sure to pop by the trading post, pick up your box of Trader's Tender, complete the little intro quest to earn even more Trader's Tender, and then you can start working on the monthly Traveler's Log. For the most part, completing the Traveler's Log should be easy and straightforward, with a wide variety of activities to choose from to earn progress. I've seen a lot of folks running around on the Ashadar Mount already. That's the reward for completing the Traveler's Log for February, so it should be quick if you want to knock it out all at once. Personally, I'm just gonna let the Traveler points accumulate over time through my standard play. You know, killing raid bosses, doing dungeons, completing world content, all the usual stuff I do every month, and then if I'm still not 100% in the last week of February, I'll target some extra stuff directly, but you do whatever you want to do. Either way, it shouldn't be difficult to earn everything available in the month of February. All that's left to do is to decide if you want to buy anything from this month's trading post wares, or save up your currency for a different month. And then to round out this video, there is also a nice quality of life change for live servers that just went through. You can now trade your primal chaos to any of your alts or other characters, but there is a catch. If you pop by the Artisans Consortium Reputation vendor, the Vulpera right next to the Crafting Order clerks in Valdrakken, they will now sell satchels of Coalescing Chaos. They cost 80 primal chaos and will give you 60 primal chaos when used. So you do lose 20 primal chaos in this transaction, which definitely isn't ideal. ideal, but because these items are bind on account, you can send them to any of your alts to trade 80 primal chaos from your main to 60 primal chaos on an alt. So that's going to be very useful if you have run out of things to use your primal chaos on your main, or you just have way too much and can't use it all. Primal chaos can help your alts gear up through using sparks of ingenuity to get gear crafted, and then you can also use primal chaos to further upgrade that crafted gear as long as you have the other focus materials. I know I'll be sending over pretty much all of my hunters primal chaos to my druid so I can craft a few more items, so I am glad to finally have a use for excess primal chaos on my main. Hopefully they add in a vendor or something later on to give you even more uses for excess primal chaos. That definitely would be nice. Not everybody has alts after all, but at least we can trade it over to our alts for the time being. But that's the various class changes coming our way, and our first look at patch 10.0.7. What do you think about the list of class changes so far and the rep paladins getting a full rework? How do you feel about patch 10.0.7 already being on the PTR and available for testing? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to all our members here on YouTube. You can see the names floating by on screen. If you'd like to add your name to the end of every video with a special shout out at the start of the next video, you can find the links in the description over to Patreon or click the join button just below this video. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I'll see you next time.